And hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode number 114, or 114 of the CheckX series, I believe, maybe 115. I apologize for that in advance if I'm wrong. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 114 or 115 of the CheckX series. If you're new here, as I say every day, the CheckX is pretty much all about me. Your host, I talk about everything that Elon posts on X and discusses the day before. Today, we're going to talk about what he discussed yesterday on Thursday, March 26, 2026. He posted about 66 times yesterday. It's not too much, but we're pretty just going to get right into this, not keep this intro rolling too long. Starting off as we usually do with Tesla and future mobility. To start off the episode and this segment, Elon teased that a vehicle way cooler than a minivan is coming, specifically noting interest in a 7-seater cyber SUV built on the Cybertruck platform to accommodate large families, which is pretty cool. Also, Elon highlighted a video of a 2,700-mile cross-country trip with 0 disengagements and encouraged users to try it out after hearing surreal reports of FSD performance. Moving on, Elon also reposted information regarding new folding unit superchargers, which is the version 4, by the way, which are cheaper, faster to deploy, and more efficient for logistics. Moving on, last but not least for this segment, Elon also expressed a desire to solve the issue of car seat laws potentially preventing births. As research suggests, these mandates make it difficult for families to fit 3 children in a standard car. Moving on, artificial intelligence, talking about mostly XAI and Grok, but to start off this segment, just 3 things to talk about. Starting off the segment, Elon stated that they are doubling down on Grok and promised the next release will be epic. Moving on, Elon also reposted explanations that Grok Imagine serves as a training material for physics and embodied AI, such as the Optimus robot, and noting that it is currently taking the lion's share of AI generation traffic. Last but not least, Elon also observed that AI written output will vastly exceed all human content and described intelligence as a form of semantic compression and correlation. Moving on to SpaceX and space exploration, just 3 things to talk about here, relatively short. Just to get it out of the way, to start off the segment, Elon reposted data showing SpaceX launches more rockets than the rest of the world and all governments combined, which we've talked about that before. Also talking about Starbase, little update, Elon described the Starbase facility at night as worldly. Last but not least, Elon also reposted a breakdown of how SpaceX utilized outcome-based contracts, to drive down costs and prioritize the mission to Mars over mere profitably. Moving on to OpenAI and Sam Altman, just 3 things to add on here, but start off the segment, Elon described Sam Altman as being super good at scamming, specifically regarding how Altman allegedly manipulated his way into the CEO role of the for-profit entity of OpenAI. Last but not least, Elon also believes he was muscled out of OpenAI after Altman mirrored his language regarding AI being an existential threat to gain his trust and funding. Moving on to X, or formerly Twitter, whatever you would like to call it. Talking about platform updates, specifically just 4 things to talk about here, but to start off this segment, Elon agreed that the current X search feature is terrible and noted that improving it is a high priority currently, and also Elon reposted news that Grok will power every ranking decision on X, starting next week, analyzing posts and videos in real time. Also, moving on, Elon promoted a new reply filter to help collapse spam and encourage people to test it. Last but not least for this segment, Elon, when asked about prioritization, Elon compared his management style to Indiana Jones running from a giant boulder, stating that prioritization often comes from desperation to avoid bankruptcy rather than leisurely selection. Moving on to legal battles and judicial bias, and then we'll wrap it up with political and social commentary. But to start off this current segment, Elon claimed many such cases regarding judicial bias, specifically citing a Florida judge who recused himself and Chancellor Kathleen McCormack. Moving on, Elon also alleged that the jury in his Twitter shareholder case was compromised, pointing to a numerical joke where jurors changed stain colors to highlight a $4.20 valuation. Last but not least, Elon joked that the probability of a fair trial is 0.0% when a judge wears a bow tie. Moving on to political and social commentary before we wrap up the episode. Just 4 things to add on here before we wrap up episode number 114. But start off the segment starting off strong. Elon commented on the decline of Christianity in the West using the use of land acknowledgements in kindergartens and criticized the woke media like Starfleet Academy. Moving on, Elon also agreed with claims that white people are unfairly blamed for slavery and stated it is objectively true that the current tax systems in places like New York City already function as forms of reparations. Or as a form of reparations. Moving on, Elon also asserted that nationalism is the enemy of the globalist and is being unfairly demonized. Last but not least, for the episode, Elon called former President Jimmy Carter insufferable and depressing, agreeing with a critique that Carter was a total disaster for American greatness. And Lee's Jailer Reproduce wraps up episode number 114 of the CheckX series. Maybe 115, apologize again for that in advance if I'm wrong. But that pretty much wraps up this episode. I recommend dropping a like, commenting, and subscribing if you haven't already. I also recommend going back and watching some of the other recent CheckX episodes just to get a nice little sequence of events going for you, if you would like. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this episode. I'll see you guys later.